If you've spent the last month polishing your resume with 10 years of experience only to be met with total silence, I want you to stop. The problem isn't your resume or your skills. You aren't failing. You're being quietly flagged as a liability. There's a shift happening in hiring that nobody talks about openly. I've spent 15 years in this industry, but this cycle is different. Right now, 22% of recruiters have updated job descriptions to mandate AI agent management. They aren't looking for labor anymore. They're looking for levers. Think about it this way. When a company hires you, they calculate the force you apply to a problem. In the old world, you applied that force manually. In the 2026 economy, they want people who multiply that force 100 times over. They want force multipliers. Have you felt this? Where the people getting attention aren't working harder. They're the ones who seem to be everywhere at once. If the system sees you as a solo worker, you're high-cost overhead that doesn't scale. If it's not your skills they're rejecting, what is the hidden logic making 500 people stand out while 15,000 are ignored? We've moved past the era of co-pilots. By 2026, chat boxes are legacy tech. We are now in the era of autonomous agents. Gartner projects that 40% of enterprise applications will have embedded autonomous agents by year-end, up from less than 5% 2 years ago. When software can think and act for itself, the person who does the work becomes overhead. Recruiter circles have a saying, if you write the code, you're the overhead. If you manage agents that write code, you're the asset. Companies aren't looking for the best Python developer. They want the architect who manages 10 agents that code better and faster than any human. There's a massive gap right now. There are 15,000 high-stakes roles for orchestrators, but only 500 qualified experts globally. That's why salaries are skyrocketing for people with less experience on paper. They aren't better at the task, they're better at the system. The market has shifted from valuing the output to valuing the leverage. So, what does it actually look like when someone stops being labor and starts being a lever? I know a technical ops manager who made $78,000 manually auditing logs. Seeing the writing on the wall, she rebranded as an AI implementation consultant. She stopped doing audits and started building agents that performed them. Within 12 months, her salary jumped to $240,000. She didn't learn a new language. She learned to manage a system. Take a fund manager I spoke with recently. He was drowning in 20,000 daily news updates. For a $500 setup cost, he built a digital research squad, 5 specialized agents for sentiment and macro trends. His output increased 300%. He cut his routine work from 6 hours to 2. He didn't work harder. He owned a more efficient system. And then there's Klarna. They replaced a 700-person workload with a single agentic layer for customer support, resolving 2.3 million conversations in a month. They didn't just save money, they boosted profits by $40 million. If these individuals and companies can 3x their output for almost no cost, how is this changing the actual paycheck for the rest of us? This shift has created the Super IC, the individual contributor who carries the weight of an entire department. PwC reports that workers with AI orchestration skills earn up to 56% more. In tech hubs, top-tier AI orchestration architects see compensation packages exceeding $600,000. This isn't just for tech, it's hitting sales, marketing, and legal. The global AI agent market is growing at 45% a year. We are entering an era where you can be the CEO of your own 10-agent squad. You don't need a massive salary to start, but that is the ceiling for those who master multi-agent systems. This is a current market requirement. Recruiters scan resumes for agentic potential. If they see someone who does tasks, they see a cost center. If they see someone who manages agents, they see a profit center. The solo worker label is the new glass ceiling. So, how do you change your status from solo worker to orchestrator by next Monday? If you were sitting across from me, here is exactly what I'd tell you to do. First, stop applying as a performer. Position yourself as someone who delivers systemic ROI. Rebrand your identity. You aren't a designer, you're a design systems architect. You aren't a coder, you're an agentic workflow engineer. Make your value about the system, not the time. Second, audit your workflow for agentic potential. Look at every task you do twice a week. That is a candidate for an agent. Don't just use AI to help you do it. Build a process where the AI does it and you audit the result. Transition from being the engine to being the pilot. Third, build your first digital squad using off-the-shelf tools. Show you know how to create leverage. When you can tell an interviewer, I managed a 3-agent pipeline that increased output by 140%, you aren't a solo worker anymore. You're a leader. Businesses are desperate for people who bridge the gap between the work and the system. The $600 Claire secret isn't about working harder. It's about owning the leverage. The people who figure this out are getting the callbacks. Start building your squad today.